Hey guys, what's up and welcome to a new Tesla update video. So today, let's go over the stock market, Tesla, SPY, QQQ, see exactly what happened, what's going to happen next, and all that good stuff. If you guys enjoy, of course, please don't forget to hit that like button. It does help a lot. Make sure you're subscribed, all that good stuff. And of course, turning on that bell notification. So Tesla, 10 seconds left in the market, but Tesla ending the day over 5%, a nice solid, like almost 5.5% move, ending the day around $922 per share. A very nice move. So we did say yesterday how Tesla seems ready to bounce. Not only did it bounce off of the mark I said the day before that, but it also bounced today even harder. I mean, a 5% move is nothing to laugh at. Now, what does this mean? Like, what is this, like a good move? Is this a bad move? Like, what does this really mean? So the one thing I want to say is that it's exciting, and don't get me wrong, it's a great move back up, but like I wouldn't get too excited yet. I would take this move with very cautiously. And what I mean by that is because the two green days we just had, moving decently well here and very nicely here, almost 5.5%. The volume is decreasing, guys. Whenever we have green rallies like this off of a big sell-offs and the volume decreases on the green rallies, you want to take that with a grain of salt, essentially, is what that means. It means that this rally potentially will not be sustained, and it means that it's not a rally that you can necessarily rely on. That's what I think. I wouldn't rely on this rally. I wouldn't be like, yeah, this is it. We're off to the moon, kind of thing. Not quite yet, in my opinion, actually. I think there's still, some headwinds ahead. I think there's still, of course, the dreaded 940 to break. Even if we break that, we still have to go ahead and, break through the overall resistance on this trend line, which, will be around that 970-ish level, give or take. Number one. Number two, again, because it's on low volume, it tells me that, institutions aren't the ones really doing the major purchasing here. You want to see, like, ideally what you want to see is you want to see big rallies on big volume. Like, you want to see increasing volume on green rallies after a sell-off or something like that, because that tells you institutions are buying as well, and it's a bullish move, and it's a confident rally essentially, as opposed to this where it's kind of like walking on thin ice sort of rally. It could very well turn into a confident rally, but as of right now, it's more of a thin ice type of rally. So keep that in mind, guys. Again, good moves, but it's very easy to get too excited on moves like this and kind of forget about the greater picture. Again, there's still the whole Russia-Ukraine thing. Tomorrow we have FOMC that could change the pace quite a bit. Now, what am I expecting coming in for, let's say, the rest of the week as an example? Let's go to the hour chart. It's a bit easier to talk about it. So the one thing I don't like, you guys know, I mean, you should know, is I don't like gap ups. I hate gap ups. I love gap downs a lot more than gap ups. Gap ups are short-term bullish, my opinion, more bearish than bullish, because now, I mean, we have this gap at 876. I mean, that needs to get filled. It's not too far away, but that needs to get filled, in my opinion. Whether it happens tomorrow, the day after, who knows? But with that being said, because we're approaching this 940 resistance, tomorrow's FOMC, and Russia-Ukraine is still, that issue is still very much there. It eased up a bit, but it's still not gone. I wouldn't be surprised if, at the very best, like, okay, so best case, like absolute best case scenario I see this week is we touch this red line around 970. That's, like, in my opinion, best case this week specifically. Next week, I would, there's a chance we can touch this next week. But what I'm projecting for this week is, wouldn't be surprised, maybe revisit 940, maybe tomorrow, the day after, wouldn't be too surprised. But that's, like, irrelevant, because regardless of whether or not we reach 940, ultimately I expect this week to have a bit of a pullback. Now, the pullback I want to see is just a gap fill. Like, I just want to go to this 876 area. I want that to get gap filled, and I want that to bounce off. That's what I want to see. That's what I'm thinking will happen. Again, wouldn't be surprised if we see a little bit more of a push up tomorrow, maybe intraday, and then we turn that into a sell-off. So maybe a little bit of a bull trap tomorrow, the first half of the day or so. And that bull trap will, of course, in my opinion, resolve. And then I think we will move to the downside for Thursday, Friday, something like that. And ideally gap fill this as fast as possible so we can move on from that and continue the push up. That's what I'm currently expecting. Of course, we'll see if it happens or not. I mean, maybe it won't happen. But essentially what you can take a look at is something like this for now, right? So we're essentially sitting at almost like this T line happens to somehow coincide, but we're essentially sitting at something like something like this, give or take. We're sitting somewhere around here right now on this kind of purple line. I'll make it right here for you guys. We're sitting somewhere around this general area, so we want to keep kind of making sure that we don't really fall too far below this purple line. So which would make sense if we sometime maybe Thursday or so pull back, gap fill, bounce off this purple line as well, and then continue upwards is what I'm personally expecting. So that's what I think will happen. Moving on to the SPY and QQQ very, very quickly. Like I said, we still bounced down. The rally up happened as expected. I mean, this is too much of a sell-off. You know, you need a bit of a rally up, you know, from this kind of sell-off. Question is, what happens next? Now, you can see there's some decent support and resistance, or in this case, support of this kind of like massive rectangular box I have drawn over here, which, you know, bounced a few times. You can see intraday off of this, you know, on the 1 hour chart, right? You know, bounced a few times, boom, 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 which is good. It's holding on to that, you know, but ultimately, again, similar to the QQQ as well, I am expecting a quick, you know, up here, maybe a little bit more, like I said, into a bull trap, reversal down for the gap fill for pretty much, again, QQQ, SPY, and Tesla. They're all in similar positions. And then off of that, I want this to hold, and then I want to see a follow through up back to the top side, and then break whatever top we leave at here. So let's say the top, let's say we don't go past 356, and then from there we start moving downwards and gap fill. Cool. Now that means after the gap fill, hold it, and on top of that, the next push up needs to break 356, and that's going to be pretty good. Either that happens, or we start forming this kind of like pennant over here, which would be either a bull, honestly a fairly bearish pennant, but you know, it can easily resolve to the bull side as well. It really depends on what happens with the whole FOMC meeting, Russia, Ukraine. If that starts easing up, then we're definitely going to start rallying. You know, things like that. Maybe inflation starts, you know, inflecting to the downside, all that kind of stuff. But all in all, that's essentially what I'm expecting, guys. Again, best case scenario, absolute best case scenario is we touch the red line again around the 960, 970 level. Realistically, I think we will probably get no farther than 940. I mean, at this rate, I'd be surprised if we even touch 940. Honestly, I actually don't think we'll even get past like 925. But 940 is technically possible. But then again, off of that, I expect to see a bull trap into a reversal down to the downside, gap fill, hold, and then off of that, I think we push up. So either way, guys, that's it for this video. Let me know what you guys think. Those are my current thoughts. We'll see what happens. I feel like lately we've been pretty much on point. Like I feel like I've been nailing like a lot of the moves lately on Tesla. Like a lot of the moves have been called out and have been pretty much acting exactly according to plan, more or less. But yeah, hopefully you guys are finding it useful. Again, if you do, don't forget to hit that like button, share with your friends, all that good stuff, guys. Make sure you're subscribed, and I'll see you for tomorrow's video. Peace, peace, peace.